Garling might have already awakened his Devil Fruit, and Oda's been foreshadowing it since Saturn was introduced. Because what if his Zoan isn't just powerful, it's apocalyptic? Here's a terrifying Norse beast tied to the end of the world, Fenrir, the wolf destined to devour gods. And now, all signs are pointing to Garling embodying that exact myth, right down to the moon he replaces, the sons he may have, and the twisted pact he made with Imu. If this theory's true, Garling isn't just another 5 elders. He might be the final monster the world isn't ready for. Let's dive deep, because the clues have been hiding in plain sight, and Garling's role might be bigger than we thought. When Garling replaced Saturn in the latest chapter, most fans saw it as a typical power shuffle. One elder steps down, another steps up. Business as usual, right? But what if that simple replacement was actually a massive symbolic event? One that subtly reveals Garling's future mythical Zoan form, and even the nature of his entire bloodline? See, in Norse mythology, there's a terrifying beast called Fenrir, a monstrous wolf destined to bring chaos and end times during Ragnarok. And strangely, everything about Garling seems to line up with that same chaotic energy. His name, his positioning, and even the celestial connections surrounding him, they all whisper Fenrir. And here's where it gets a little spooky. Garling doesn't just replace Saturn in title. He might be replacing Saturn in cosmic symbolism too. Because in real-world astronomy, Saturn actually has a moon named Fenrir. That's not just a fun coincidence, that's deliberate mythological layering, and Oda's done it before. So Garling becoming Fenrir might not just be a theory, it might be the entire point of his character. And that's not even the wildest part. Some fans believe that Garling's ascension to the 5 Elders wasn't just about power. It may have come at a cost, the kind of cost that binds your soul to something much darker, a devil pact with Imu. Now, if Imu really is the forest devil, then this pact wouldn't be symbolic at all. It could be literal. It might have granted Garling immortality, the same rumored gift Saturn once carried. It could have revealed secrets about the Void Century, the kind of knowledge only a handful of beings have ever glimpsed. And at the heart of it all, it might have come with a mythical Zoan, the mythical Zoan of Fenrir. And I mean, just picture that for a second. Garling in his awakened form, not just turning into a wolf, but into the end of the world. A creature of pure destruction who was meant to devour gods. That's the level of threat we're talking about here. If you look at Shamrock's ability, which is the Cerberus, a wolf or feral type of powers, you can actually say that the father would also have a feral type of powers, which we are pointing to Fenrir. And yet, the symbolism keeps going deeper. In Norse myth, Fenrir has 2 sons, Skjöll and Hati. Skjöll chases the sun, Hati chases the moon. They're locked in a chase they can never win. Eternal, relentless, symbolic of day and night, order and chaos. Now think about this in One Piece terms. What if Skjöll and Hati weren't just myth? What if they're characters we've already met? Because look, Shanks has always been tied to the sun. He's the one who inherited Roger's will, passed down the Straw Hat, guarded the Nika fruit, and ultimately helped bring Joy Boy back into the world. Shanks didn't just chase the sun, he protected it. He embodied it. So what if Shanks is Skjöll? So let's say Shanks is Skjöll, chasing the sun. Then his brother, Hati, would be chasing the moon. And that moon might be Garling himself. This mysterious brother, one of the Holy Knights, could be the one who's loyal to the celestial dragons, the one raised in Mary Joie, the one who stayed behind when Shanks was taken by the Roger pirates. Imagine that, 2 sons separated by fate, chasing opposite symbols. One chasing freedom, the other chasing power, both unknowingly reenacting the myth of Skjöll and Hati. Their destinies shaped not by choice, but by heritage and that cosmic struggle. It's not over. If all of this tracks, if Garling really is the Fenrir figure and Shanks and his brother are Skjöll and Hati, then we might already know how the story ends. Because in Norse mythology, Skjöll and Hati catch the sun and moon during Ragnarok, and when that happens, Fenrir breaks his chains. The end begins. So what does that mean for One Piece? It means Shanks and his brother aren't just rivals. They're keys. Their clash might be the very thing that unleashes Garling's true form, the mythical Zoan Fenrir, the breaker of order, the monster that even the world government see as one of their best powers. And maybe that's why Garling let Shanks live all those years ago, because in the end, both sons are just pawns in a story older than they'll ever understand. But here's the thing. What if Garling's true enemy isn't even his sons? What if it's Joy Boy? Because Fenrir doesn't just chase, he devours. And that might be where the real danger begins. Let's step back for a moment to all of the 5 elders. And I think there will be a big betrayal in the lines of their ranks. And all the fan theories are pointing to Saint Shepherd Jew Peter. It's kind of wild when you think about it. Nearly every major organization in One Piece has had a traitor buried somewhere deep within its ranks. From Corazon turning on Doflamingo, to Kanjuro's devastating betrayal of the Red Scabbards, to Robin playing double agent inside Baroque works, the pattern is unmistakable. And this trend isn't just a coincidence. Oda has been planting these betrayals like ticking time bombs, and every single time is someone you never expected. Which is why fans have started eyeing someone you'd never think to doubt. Someone who stands at the top of the world, Saint Shepherd Jupiter of the Five Elders. Now I know it sounds insane at first. How could one of the Five Elders possibly betray the very government they've helped rule for centuries? But here's where things get interesting, because when you zoom in on Jupiter, the details start whispering a different story. And wait until you hear how Oda designed him, because it's almost too intentional. If you line up the Five Elders side by side, there's one thing that immediately stands out. Jupiter doesn't look like he belongs. While the rest of the Five Elders are old, hardened, and dressed like uptight tyrants from a dystopian boardroom, Jupiter is noticeably younger, with messy blonde hair, looser clothing, and an almost casual attitude compared to the others. He wears his shirt open, no tie, his posture more relaxed. And sure, at first it just seems like a character design choice, but Oda doesn't do that without a reason. He's the only one who doesn't exude that stiff, militaristic energy. And when the elders gather to discuss the world's fate, he often stands off to the side, barely speaking, his face unreadable. While Warkery and Saturn spit venom and genocidal intent, Jupiter is quiet, almost hesitant. And in a world where the celestial dragons treat cruelty as a birthright, that hesitation feels like a crack in the mask. But here's where things start to get really strange. Two of the elders wear their scars like trophies. Saturn and Warkery, faces marked by battle or ritual, almost like they want the world to see the pain they've endured or inflicted. But Jupiter, his scar is on his chest, hidden, quiet, secret, and symbolically, that says everything. It's not a wound he flaunts, it's one he hides. And you have to ask yourself, what kind of pain would someone like Jupiter choose to bury instead of brandish? In Oda's world, scars always mean something. They're not just injuries, they're backstory in disguise. This one might be more than just a physical injury. It could be a scar from betrayal or from regret. But his scar isn't even the weirdest part, because what fans started noticing next raised even more eyebrows. So during the Egghead arc, we finally saw the Five Elders reveal their terrifying yokai forms, and all of them were deeply rooted in classic Japanese mythology, from mighty beasts to ancient demons, all of them, except Jupiter. His was a sandworm. Now yeah, that's still dangerous, but it's also completely out of place. A sandworm isn't a Japanese yokai. It's something more Western, more obscure, and weirdly more symbolic. A creature that hides underground, watching, waiting, staying dormant until the moment is right to strike. And that doesn't sound like a monster of conquest. That sounds like a traitor in disguise. A sleeper agent hiding beneath the surface of the world's most powerful council. Fans couldn't help but feel like Jupiter didn't want to fight at all. That maybe his performance on Egghead was weak on purpose. And the symbolism doesn't stop there, because even the way Oda draws him feels like a message. You ever notice that Jupiter is almost always shown on the leftmost side of the manga panel? That means, by the natural flow of reading from right to left, he's the final elder your eyes land on. And while that might sound minor, it's actually genius, because it gives readers this subtle, lingering pause. You see all the stern, dark-suited tyrants first, and then bam, Jupiter. Blonde, younger, looser, quieter. It breaks the expectation and leaves an afterimage in your mind. And in key moments, Oda has gone out of his way to show only Jupiter's reactions. He could have picked anyone, but he chose him, almost like he's been silently watching, waiting for his moment, and maybe, just maybe, he's not like the rest of them at all. And when you look at his name, the theory only gets deeper. Now here's the part that honestly gives me chills. Each of the Five Elders have names that sound imposing, aristocratic, or just downright intense. Topman, Ethan Barron, Jay Garcia, names that sound like nobility or war generals. But Jupiter, his name is Shepherd. That's not a name of power. That's a name of humility. A shepherd isn't a ruler, he's a guide. Someone who leads the lost, who watches over the flock, who walks among them instead of towering above them. And whether intentional or not, That one word completely separates him from the rest of the elders. It paints a picture of someone whose mission might be protective rather than destructive. And if he's truly different from the rest, if he's meant to play the role of a hidden guide rather than an enforcer, then maybe, just maybe, his betrayal isn't out of hatred, but out of loyalty to something much older, which leads us to the final piece of this theory, and it's the craziest one yet. Okay, hear me out. We know that being an elder comes with insane perks, immortality, godlike powers, and a front row seat to 8 centuries of history. And we saw it with Saturn, who appeared in a flashback from over 200 years ago without aging a day. So logically, Jupiter has been around for just as long, maybe even longer. And if that's true, what if he wasn't born a villain at all? What if he was once an ally of Joy Boy, someone who chose to embed himself within the enemy to watch, to wait, to slowly shift the tides from within? I know it sounds like pure speculation, and it is, but doesn't it feel exactly like the kind of twist Oda would drop at the most unexpected moment? A double agent hidden not among pirates or revolutionaries, but within the 5 elders themselves? Because if Jupiter is truly the sandworm, then maybe he's been buried in plain sight this whole time, just waiting for the right moment to strike.